Hello everybody, welcome to a Facebook Live with Jeannie. I'm Jeannie Nielsen, the Card Lady, and I'm so excited to be here with you today. I have a great class scheduled for this week that you guys will get to see firsthand before I even announce it to my customers. We are going to make some quilted cards, and I think you are going to love these cards. I found 4 patterns on Pinterest, and I copied them, and I did it with our current designer paper and embossing folders, and just had so much fun. So without further ado, we are going to drop down. I'm going to flip down, or flip up to flip down, I should say, and I'm going to show you 4 of these great cards. I'm so excited. Okay, going up. Don't get dizzy. And now we are going down. I think it's going to take me the full hour, which is why I'm here. I have my cheat sheet here. I have this open to the embossing folders in the annual catalog on page 129. There are so many great embossing folders, but wait until you see my card. So I'm going to put this off to the side, and as I get to each card, we'll go through it. The first card we are going to make is this great pinwheel card, and it's so easy, so much fun. So I'm going to show you. This uses our delightful floral designer paper that's in the mini catalog with the yellows. You know that I love yellow. It's one of my favorite colors. So we're going to make it today. I'm going to show you how. It's so easy. Easier than you would ever believe. I have already done a little bit of the prep work. I've already cut my card base to 5.5 by 8.5. It's scored at 4 1/4, and I use my bone folder, of course, to make a nice crisp fold there. I have my basic white layer. This layer was embossed with, I go back to my cheat sheet, the Cute Crochet 3D embossing folder. I've already done some of this. I actually embossed both layers. So you're going to see that I also embossed this layer. So we're going to do that later. I'm not going to emboss on camera, but I am going to show you the sandwich that I use to emboss, just so that you understand what it is. And then I'll just tell you a couple of, just a couple of tips. Okay, so what we're going to do first is just attach this to our Daffodil Delight card base. I could choose either side that I want. There's an embossed layer, which is a little bit more raised, and then there's the debossed, which is not so raised. It's actually more flat. When I'm thinking about quilting, I usually think about an embossed layer. I would want this to, because when you think about the stitching, it's up, it's raised, right? So, but you can do anything you want because these are your cards. I'm just going to add this, a little bit of my multi-purpose glue to the front, and I can put this right on here. So I've already embossed my 4 by 5 1/4 inch layer. This is going to be for my inside. We'll do that in just a second. What we need next are 2 squares of coordinating design cardstock. These go along with the delightful floral paper. I chose the yellow gingham because I don't know about you. Oops, sorry. I just realized that I'm kind of crooked. There we go. Okay. I used yellow gingham because I love the yellow gingham, and I love this yellow floral. It's so bright and cheery. It reminds me of sunshine. So pretty, and I feel like they go together very well. Because of the green in here, the old olive, I chose my squares to be old olive as well. You need 2 squares. You're going to attach, put adhesive on 1 square, and you're going to attach them like that. These squares are 2 5/8 by 2 5/8 each. So what I'm going to do, I probably shouldn't have put so much glue. See, that's a lot of glue. I shouldn't have gone so wide. You know what I'm going to want to do? Let me put this here. I'm going to have my silicone mat to absorb some of that glue just in case, because I haven't found my chamois. What I'm going to do is put one of my squares on point, and the other one is going to be squared up, and we try to make it even. So just like that. See, it didn't do badly actually. Okay, now what we're going to do next, I'll go like this. What we're going to do next is attach these squares. there is a trick to this. The first square that you attach, you are only going to put adhesive on one side. You're only going to put adhesive on this side, okay? And we are going to attach that in the corner. I don't know if you can see that. Am I off camera? I might be a little bit. Let's go down a little bit more. There we go. We're going to leave a very, very, very slight border. And I've only put adhesive on this side, okay? And you'll see why. I shouldn't have done that because it kind of wiggled and moved out of position. There we go. Just like that. Okay, the next one is going to be a yellow gingham. And we are going to, there's also, just to let you know, there are other sides too. I could easily do this side if I wanted to. I just love the yellow gingham though. You know what? Just for something different, maybe we will do this side instead. Let's try it. Let's try it. The point being that this is your masterpiece and you can do whatever. I added adhesive to the entire back square and I'm going to put it in this corner. I'm going clockwise and I'm putting it and lining it up with the corner just like that. Okay. Now we're going to get another yellow floral. These fell on the floor right before my Facebook Live, so it wouldn't surprise me if I can't find one of my pieces, but we'll see. I want to be able to see the green because I want to bring out the green. See, I could do the yellow, but I'm going to bring out the green, so I'm going to make sure it's on my edge. Let's put adhesive just like that. And we're going to do this all the way around. So let's do this, hiding my beautiful yellow gingham. I can't believe I'm doing that. Isn't this fun though? This is probably my favorite card, my favorite technique of all of the quilted cards. And I can't wait to show you more, but you have to wait, sorry. Okay, I'm gonna put adhesive. I don't want you to see everything right off the bat and then say, I'm good now, right? Okay, we're gonna do this one. I'm so happy you're all joining me. I will check out the comments, but this one, I misplaced my iPad. I bought a new tile so that I can keep track of everything, but I haven't found my iPad to attach my new tile. Have you ever seen the commercial so that the bear that gets left in the taxi cab and somebody is able to track down who it belongs to? That's pretty cool. I need that all the time. That's why I got my new Apple Watch, so I can find my phone all the time. My son will tell you it's because he got tired of finding it for me. Okay, we're on the last square. I'm going to put the adhesive here. And this is the one where I didn't tuck it under that side. So we are going to tuck it right under, just like that. It's a little bit snug, but you can do it. You know, I think I like this one better than this one. This one is a little blah, a little plain, but that's okay. And now what I can do is add just a little bit of adhesive right there, attach it down, and we're good. Okay, now for the next thing that we're going to do, I'm going to emboss this. Using this cute crochet 3D pattern, I'm going to do the same thing for this. So let me show you. I can choose to either put my pattern in this way or this way, depending on if I want it embossed or debossed. Like I said before, I like the emboss layer. I'm going to line it up with the points. It's a kind of a giveaway where I'm going to put this because there's lines here on the embossing folder, and I'm going to line it up with that. And let me show you the pattern that I'm going to do, and then off camera I'm going to emboss it. This is what we're going to do. Because it is a 3D folder, this is the sandwich that we do. You just do the base, no thin plate or anything, just the base. I've put my thing inside my 3D folder, and then I'm going to use this gray number 4 plate, and we're going to evenly run it through. let me just do that off camera real quick and I'll show you how it looks. So hang on one second. Now, the funny thing is, this one, it's such a tight fit because you've got 2 layers of cardstock and 2 layers of designer paper, ultimately. And it fits together like a glove, so it's kind of like peeling and sticking. And there could be some adhesive on here too, but hopefully not. Look at how pretty that is. Isn't that so pretty? So we are going to attach that to our card front. I could do it so that both points are at the top. I kind of like it with the points like that. And then we'll embellish with something in the center. This one I use speckled dots, and I'm not sure, but the speckled dots may be retired. I'm going to show you how I keep track of all of my embellishments. I have this great folder and these beautiful envelopes, and then each one has its own thing, and I just flip through here and find the perfect embellishment. I have to say that I have not gone through to figure out what has retired, I realized recently. So what I'm going to do though is use these iridescent faceted gems, which I really like. I'm going to use my take your pick tool, and I'm going to take a big one and I'm just going to attach it to my center. And that covers up any possible problems with it if you don't quite meet your points in the middle. Mine wasn't perfect, but it wasn't terrible either. But I wish we had a bigger gem. We just don't. We don't have a bigger gem, especially that matches these colors right now anyway. I'm going to pop this up with some dimensionals. Oh, look at this. I wanted to show you that. Isn't that so cool? That's the back of the pattern. I just love that. I like to put my dimensionals right on the points like that. You don't need a ton of dimensionals, but if you do use a ton of dimensionals, make sure you're my customer so that you buy more from me. But there are some people that just plaster the back. I just put a couple on. We're going to go like this, and we'll put it right in the center, just like that. And look at how happy that card is. I wanted to show you, this is the Stylish Shapes small long banner. I think it's the smallest, most narrow. I think it's the longest narrow small banner that we have. Okay, so I've got my old olive ink pad, and I'm going to stamp happy birthday. I've got the happy birthday from Something Fancy. It's from Something Fancy. I'm going to ink it up. I have to stand up to do this. I'm going to trust my block, and if it's upside down, it's okay because I'm still trusting my block. Oh, not bad. Okay, so here we go. I've got my happy birthday. I'll pop that up at the bottom. If I wanted another layer, I could do that too. I'm going to use mini dimensionals for this because it's a little narrower. And I just want to show you the inside because I love the inside of this card too. And I'll show you what stamp set it is. Okay, let me put this down here, right in the middle. I think that's pretty close to perfect. And then inside, we are going to stamp a little spray of flowers, and it's very similar to the flowers, which you can't really see because of the design of the crocheted embossed piece now, but I'm using these flowers. These flowers are from the heart-shaped bundle that is from Celebration, and I just heard that it's sold out, and hopefully that's not sold out forever because it is a great stamp set. I love the heart, the stamp, and the die. I love these. So I've stamped my little flowers. I'm going to stamp a couple of little leaves. So this is all from that heart-shaped, but you could use anything you want. This paper is Delightful Wishes. So you could certainly use, no, it's Delightful Floral, which coordinates with the Delightful Wishes bundle. I'm going to do it just like that. I'm not going to stamp my words in yellow. Even though it does show up, it's not going to show up as beautifully as it will in the green. I'm going to stamp this stamp. The sentiment says, "I didn't forget your birthday. I'm just stretching out the celebration. And I'm telling you, I have cards here ready for everybody. But the hardest thing for me to do is get it into the mailbox. I don't know why. I'm going to trust my block, and hopefully, I'm not going to stand up for this, so hopefully it's going to work. Not terrible. Okay, so we're going to just add this to the inside, and isn't that so bright and cheery? Anybody that has a birthday in January or February, it's quite possible you're going to get something with this yellow paper because I love it. Okay, let me attach this to the inside, and voila. You could add these same flowers to your envelope when you're stamping your envelope. I just don't happen to have an envelope here to stamp. So, no naked insides. That's my new motto. And that's a big deal because you know me. So this was our first card. And this, like I said, was a pinwheel card. So the trick is when you overlap your 2 5/8 inch squares, don't put adhesive on the left side, the left back of the first square, so you can tuck the last one in underneath. Okay, there we go. Beautiful cards. On to number 2. I'm going to move this out of the way and try not to get, I don't have a cleaner pad here as far as I can tell. So we're going to move on to number 2. Number 2 is, let's do this card. Probably my least favorite of these because it's a little bit more involved, but we're going to do it fine with it anyway. This is, I think it's something about a woven star. It is. It's a woven star quilted card. So let's do this, and I'll show you how to do this. This is going to use our new fruit salad designer paper that is part of Celebration. I decided I liked the cheerful, fun pattern, so we were going to try something with that. So I've got all my pieces ready to go for you guys. We're going to start with our card base. And do I have a card base here? Yes, I do. Okay, starting with my card base. This card base happens to be 4 1/4 by 11 inches, scored at 5 1/2 inches. It could also be 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 inches, scored at 4 1/4. So whatever you do to come up with the same card front, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. Totally up to you. I have another layer here. This is a basic white layer. I could emboss this, but I want to stamp at the bottom. And for some reason, I just don't like stamping on an embossed layer. So we're not going to do that yet. We're just going to stamp on it, and we'll just leave our star as the quilted part. Now, a lot of this is an illusion, and you'll see this. I have 4 different strips here of designer paper. These strips, let me move this out of the way, are 1/2 inch by 6 inch. You don't necessarily need 6 inches. You just need enough for your corner piece of cardstock. Your square is 3 inches by 3 inches. And let me show you what we're going to do with that first. With our 3-inch square, we are going to take a pencil, and I have a mechanical pencil here because it kind of always stays sharp for me. And I have a metal ruler here, and we are going to draw a line corner to corner. Just like that. Is it corner? Yep, perfectly in the corner. The more perfect you do it, the better your card is going to turn out. I'm going to do this again on this side. So I've got my ruler, and I'm making an X, and it's perfectly in the corner on both sides. I can move that pencil and ruler out of the way, and now I'll show you what we're going to do. We are going to add glue. I prefer glue because it gives me time to move it. You could also probably use another kind of adhesive if you wanted to, but glue is my favorite. We're going to put just glue in those 2 top corners. And I'm going to set this aside because I'm going to need the glue in just a second, but not yet. The first thing I'm going to do is lay out my pattern pieces. So I like this one. I'm going to go like this. Here, I'm going to go like this. If it has a direction, you'll want to make sure it goes in the right direction. I honestly think you'd be okay if you wanted to doing 4 inches or even 5 inches on your DSP. So I'm doing that. I perfectly lined it up and butted it next to this line right here. With my glue, I have time to move it and rearrange it if it's not quite on the corner. What I'm going to do is flip this over, make sure this is perfectly on the corner, and it looks like it is right now. That's all I'm going to do with that. I have to do one more pattern here, and on the other side, I'm going to go like this. On the other side of that line, I am going to line up this other designer paper, just like that. And I'm going to flip this over again and make sure it is on the points. It seems like it is. Okay, next what we're going to do, I've got a couple more patterns. I am probably going to use this one. I love the strawberry of it. What I'm going to do is kind of weave it under these 2 pieces. And I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to do this one next because I don't want that right next to this pattern piece. I'm going to do this one. I'm weaving it under, so it's going under this piece, under this piece, over that piece, if that makes sense. And we are going to perfectly line that up in our corner again, just like that. And last but not least, we have this piece, and I love the strawberries, so I'm probably going to make sure it stays close by. This one is going to go right here. It's going to go perfectly butted up on that line. It's going to go over this piece, but under the bottom piece because we're alternating it. So we're weaving it just like that. Now, the next thing that I want to do, now I've already moved this, and you've got to be careful not to, because if you move that, it's not going to line up really well. There we go. You've got a little bit of time because it's the wet glue, the multi-purpose glue. You've got some time before it's going to have to stay perfectly in position. I'm going to go like this, just like that. I'm going to go like that for this piece, just like that. And then I want to turn this over really quickly before it dries and make sure I'm still on the points, and I am. You can see that I'm still right there on the point on both sides, point and point. This one point, this one, not so much. We're going to have to work on that. So what I'm going to do is attach this down. And I'm going to make sure both of these pieces are right up butted next to the line, just like that. Now, the only little problem we have with this is that when I'm putting this in the embossing folder, if this is wet glue, it's going to make a mess. But that is what's going to happen, unfortunately. You can use your adhesive eraser. Now what I'm going to do is take my scissors, or, you know, my paper snips, because we're going to stay authentic here to Stampin' Up. I am going to flip this over, and I am going to trim these edges just like that. So make it nice and flush with the edge, just like that. I didn't do such a great job on that one. Let me do a little bit closer. There we go. And like this. And we're going to do this side. You could also do this with your paper trimmer if you're worried that you're not going to be able to cut straight. I'm cutting off some of my white square. I didn't want to do that. Okay. That, and our last piece is just like that. And here we go. Now, let me get rid of my mess here. This is where I should have my chamois and get rid of all my ink spots. This is what it looks like now. So you don't see the pattern yet, but you will in 2 seconds. The next thing that we're going to do before we run it through the embossing folder, and you know what? I could almost do it like a dot of glue under here. I'm going to just, since it's wanting to flip up on me, I'm just going to squeeze a tiny, tiny little dot under there. Perfect. Just like that. Now, to give the illusion of this woven star, what we're going to do is we're going to attach 4 of these 3/4 by 3/4 inch squares into the corners, just like this. And that is going to give your illusion of this woven star. And so you'll see it in just a second. Let me attach this. There is a right and a wrong side when you cut your cardstock. You can feel what is right and what is wrong. Make sure it's flush to the edges, just like that. When you're close, you're going to know that this is what I did, that I attached this. But hopefully by the time we emboss it, it's going to be such an illusion that it's going to be perfect. Okay, that's number 2. Like I said, you can feel which is top for your paper cutter and which is bottom. I just can't explain it, but there's a little bit of a ridge, and you can feel which is front and back. And last, see, you can almost see it. There's a little bit of a ridge there, and that's my back. Okay, and we're going to put that in this corner, just like that. So now you can see the star, and it looks like I've made the diagonal miter cuts, which I have not. What I'm going to do next is use a, did I take the wrong folder? I did. My crocheted folder is here. Let me get this one. Going back to my catalog, I'm going to look at this. This is the number 7, the Distress Tile 3D folder. So I am going to put this in here, and I can choose, when it's distressed, some parts are going to appear more pronounced than others. I'm actually going to try and avoid those distressed parts, I've decided. I'm just going to put this in, and I'm going to run this through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So hang on and let me do that off camera. It's going to be the same sandwich as before. The base, your embossing folder with the paper inside, and then your gray plate, your plate number 4 on the top. Okay, and let's see how we did here. I could have also have done a better job, so look at that. I kind of wish that wasn't all distressed. I get distressed over distressed. That's all I have to say. It's a common theme for me. For some reason, distressing, ripping paper, it's hard for me. I have here a pecan pie cardstock base. I've decided, I don't know, it seems I could do red, I could have done yellow, I could have done even maybe pool party or whatever I wanted to do, but this seems like the neutral that I could do and that would still brighten up the card. So this piece of cardstock is 3 1/4 inches by 3 1/4 inches. So my cardstock square is 3 inches by 3 inches, and I'm going to center that right here. Add a fair amount of glue to your back because with the embossing, it kind of goes in all the nooks and crannies, and it's not going to stick as well if you don't have a lot of glue. It could be in one of the crannies and not have a nice smooth adherence to your back. So here we have that. You know what I just realized? Do I have my 3 3/4 inch piece? I do. So what I'm going to do is attach this DSP here. This DSP is also part of the fruit salad celebration paper. I'm going to put it close to the top, kind of close to the top. I wish it was flush with the edge, but apparently, you know what? I can do that. Let me just take a sliver. Since it's hard to add it to my yellow, let me take a sliver off of my white, just like that. It's easier to take away, and it's not going to matter because it's layered on top of my card base. What I'm going to do is put this kind of closer to the top, almost like 2/5. I don't know. It's hard to say, but I'm going to want to center it just like that, and then still have room to stamp my sentiment down here, okay? So this seems like the best place to put it. Kind of 2/5 down. It's not quite half. I can't explain. But it's not a third. Anyway, kind of like right there. And then I am going to pop up my square. I've got my full-size dimensionals here. You could do the same thing with this one as we did with the yellow card, where we put it on its point, but then you're going to find that you're not going to have as much room to stamp your sentiment. I chose my sentiment. This one has not seen a lot of ink for a while. I did a class last year when we had the Regency DSP, I believe it was. So let me show you. I'm going to attach this kind of like right there. Beautiful. Okay. My sentiment that I've chosen, kind of keeping it neat here, is from the Sentimental Park stamp set. It's still current. It had a flower set, a flower punch, and I'm pretty sure the flower punch is gone. I could be wrong, but this is Sentimental Park. It has great sentiments. Now, I could say anything. I could say best wishes. I could say you are amazing. I could say thinking of you. I could say let's celebrate. And you know what I did? I didn't put anything except let's celebrate, because you know what? Inside I can say your graduation, your new baby, your anniversary, whatever I want. So this is really an all occasion stamp set that's really, really nice to have around. With the pecan pie and the let's celebrate, I'll attach it to the card front in just a second. Let me just open this up. I am going to stamp let's celebrate. And I'm going to stand up to do that. And like I said, I could put anything I want underneath. What do we want to celebrate? I don't want to say happy birthday, although I could. How about your new adventure? Let's stamp that as well. Oh, there's dies. There was the Petal Park stamp set and with the Petal Park punch and Sentimental Park dies. Okay. You could easily have done that off to the side. Let's see. Your new adventure. Okay. I'm going to take off the stamp let's celebrate, and we are going to stamp your new adventure just for something fun, just to show you how easy it is to personalize your card. Let's put it kind of, there you go. Beautiful. I'm going to add some dots, okay, to fill in that hole. I could have easily centered this, but I didn't. So I wanted to show you, these are the pecan pie dots, I believe. Pecan pie and clear ribboned adhesive back dots. I have not even, this is my first time opening the package. Pecan pie dots go with a pecan pie paper, so we're going to use it. I'm going to put one right in the center. I like to use the putty side of my thing. I'm going to go like that. And then we're going to do one more big one. We're going to go just like that. And let's just do a small one. And I could have done the clear too, but I really wanted to bring out the pecan pie to match. And there we go. Beautiful. Let's just attach this to our card front, just like that. And you're going to see how beautiful and easy this card was. So, like I said, it was probably not my favorite because it's a little bit more detailed. You kind of have to be good with your, you have to be really concise when you're lining up your DSP with your lines. There we go. Ta-da! Isn't that so cool? So that is our second card, our second, and this is the woven star quilted card. Okay, on to number 3. Number 3 is, oh, this card. This is really cool. I'm going all purple in this one. This one is so easy, so easy. We are going to pull out our cardstock, our gorgeous grape. I inked it up. If you think that you're going a little cross-eyed and maybe things are a little blurry here, believe it or not, I inked up my stamp and actually inked my card, and it wasn't very bold. My ink pad needed some ink. So I used my refill and I inked up my ink pad and I lined this up almost perfectly. Isn't that cool? If you're really looking, it's not quite perfect, but you know what? I kind of filled in some of the open spaces with my gorgeous grape marker, so it all worked fine. Okay, let's get to this card. There are a couple of layers. This is Highland Heather, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. I have my layer here, 4 by 5 1/4. Again, Highland Heather. You can pick what side is going to be top and bottom and whatever. Now I have a cardstock square, and I believe this is again 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 inches. It is, which means that this square is 3 inches by 3 inches, and I should have known that. Now, why didn't I know that? Let me tell you what we are going to do. I use the lavender paper, the perennial lavender paper, which is still current. I don't know if it's in the catalog, but it's definitely online. It's still current. These are probably my 2 favorite patterns in the entire perennial lavender thing, except for the big, large scrapbook page. But obviously, you're only going to get part of the pattern because of the way it's laid out. What you're going to do is cut these 1-inch squares. So I did a 1-inch strip of this paper and a 1-inch strip of this paper, layered them together. So I've got a 1 by 12-inch piece of paper, and then I cut them into 1-inch squares together. You need 9 squares. I'm going to give you 10 pieces though, because it's going to be up to you. Do you want the purple in the corner? Do you want the tan in the corner? Crumb cake or Highland Heather, I should say. But you know what I mean. I could do it both. I actually love this pattern. I did it also this way because I was not going to do any embossing. And I actually wanted to show you, this is the debossed, and this is the purple in the corner. And I decided I like this one better. So I like it embossed rather than debossed, and I like the tan in the corner. What we're going to do is line up our squares, 3 across, 3 down, to make 9 squares. So like I said, you can choose what you want to do. Oh, you know what else I'm going to do? I'm not going to use my glue this time. I am going to use my Stamp & Seal, or my Stamp & Seal Plus. And let's do that. I'm going to go right there, right across, and right on the bottom. And if I'm worried that I'm not going to get everything, I could do it right here. Yeah, now we're going to be covered. Okay, I just decided I wanted to do that instead of the glue this time. First of all, I want to make sure that because I'm starting with the tan or the crumb cake pattern, I want my butterflies to show up. And I could even have used butterfly gems on here. I didn't use any gems on there. I just embossed. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2, I'm gonna line that up like that. Number 3, just kind of make sure it's going in the right direction. You don't want upside down paper. This one is like this. I guess it's most important that the seams match in the middle rather than the outside, because if it doesn't quite meet the outside, you can cut that off. That's okay. But you really have to make sure your lines are straight. I'm not doing a great job. That line is not straight. It's kind of crooked. But just like that. No. Pick that up. There we go. I think that's pretty close. We're going to do another crumb cake down here. We're going to do another purple, and I could do either one, it doesn't matter. And then one more crumb cake in the corner, just like that. Because I'm not straight, you know what? It's not going to kill me. What I'm going to do is take my paper cutter. Got all my squares here. I'm going to take my paper cutter and I'm just going to trim off the bottom and just kind of make it nice and straight. If it's not 3 inches, that's not the end of the world, because what I'm going to do, and I want to make sure it looks, yeah, that doesn't look too bad. I might want to take off a tiny bit off of that side. I don't know if you see it or not, but there's a little Highland heather showing. If I take just a tiny bit off of that, that was not how I wanted to do it, because there we go. By the way, I just replaced my blade last week. You're going to shred your paper if you don't use a nice clean blade, especially if it's more than 1 layer. Okay, what I'm going to do now is use this embossing folder. And like I said, this is embossed, this is debossed. You can choose your favorite. I happen to like the embossed. And this pattern is number 5, Eyelet 3D. So I'm using the Eyelet 3D folder, and I know that this is going to be the embossed side because the embossed side has the label on the front, okay? Put it, and you know what? I like to look at my pattern and make sure I can kind of see, I can kind of center my square corners in with the pattern. So I'm going to do that just a little bit if I can, try to do it as straight as I can. And I'm going to go off camera for just a second. Same sandwich again. Bottom plate, embossing folder with the paper, and then your gray number 4 plate on top. Ta-da! Here is our thing, and hopefully I did it embossed rather than debossed after doing all that teaching. Yes, I did. Okay, there we go. Isn't that cool? Really cool? I really love this. So the stars of this card, actually of all of these cards, is both the designer paper, and it's so lovely that all of the designer paper coordinates in some way. Wait until you see the last card. I really like the last card. It's probably my, no, I said my yellow was my favorite, didn't I? And seriously, I like this one too. I like this one a tiny bit more because there's a few more purples rather than whites, but it's not bad at all. If I wanted to add some gems, we have the purple sequins. I have to tell you, the purple sequins are a celebration item, or we still have these purple gems as well. So you could choose either one. Those would match beautifully with it. This was a really bold saying, and I decided I wanted to do something a little bit differently. Okay, what I'm going to do is attach this. I'm going to pop it up just like before. Let me get my dimensionals. Pop up my square. So all of these kind of have, these 3, I should say, all have a square that is kind of the theme. So as long as you cut your paper straight, and I have a guillotine cutter I always use, and I've decided I can't use the guillotine cutter for these cards. Make sure your pattern is facing in the right direction when you put this on. Okay, this is my stamp that I'm going to use. It's called You're in My Thoughts Today. This is from the Thoughtful Expressions stamp set. I don't know if you remember the Thoughtful Expressions stamp set. I sure do. The Thoughtful Expressions stamp set is the one that had the dies that went out of stock last year before the end of the year. Beautiful for the hummingbird and the flowers. Really nice dies. And really nice label dies. So I was really sad about that. But anyway, I do like the sentiment. So we are going to use this sentiment and the gorgeous grape ink pad that I just re-inked, and hopefully this is going to work. I lined this up on my stamp, so I'm going to just truss the block. I almost don't need to stand up, but I'm going to. Let's do it like that. Beautiful. I love that. This is the perfect stamp for somebody if, you know, I don't know about you, but when I think about somebody, I usually think about somebody for a reason. All of a sudden, somebody will pop in my mind, and then I find out something happened, or they're in town, or they've organized an event and they're thinking of me. Who knows? Who knows what it is? But if somebody pops in my mind, I try to pay attention to it, because more often than not, there's a really good reason why they're on my mind. So usually when they're on my mind, besides sending a card, which is what I'd love to do, and I don't do it enough, I make sure I say a prayer for them too, because most often they need a prayer. So wanted to let you know, if you're on my mind, I'm thinking of you and praying for you. Do I want to add some gems? I certainly could. I think see, this is nice. It's not terrible, but it's so bold. Not my favorite. Love this one. I really, really do. Okay, so that's card number 3. Let me put this off to the side and wait till you see card number 4. Okay, I'm going to put this in my bin and clean them all off. Oh, you know what? I didn't stamp the inside. I didn't bring a white piece of cardstock for the inside, but that, because of this, I would want to use maybe a sprig of the painted lavender. The painted lavender stamp set is still current too. So I'd probably use maybe Pretty Peacock for the leaves or stems, and then I would use Gorgeous Grape or Highland Heather for the actual stalks of lavender. So that is the plan, although I didn't do it, but for class, that will be available to you, so you can do that. Okay, time for my last card, and because I've done a purple card, and I've done a yellow card, right? And I've done just a, I don't know, multicolored card. You know what card is missing here? Well, yes, there is a blue card, and we're not doing a blue card, sorry to say. But we are going to do a pink card. Look at how pretty this card is. Look at how pretty it is. I just love this card. Okay, so let me show you how we're going to make this. So easy, and we could choose which side of the designer paper we're going to do. So I'm actually going to switch it up and show you something different. Okay, with this paper, I could do either the Shy Shamrock ribbon or the Pretty in Pink ribbon. So we're going to do that in a second. I have my layer here. This is 4 by 5 1/4 inches. And before I actually assemble this card, I'm going to show you how I cut this. Really, really super, super simple. Let me get my stamps here that I don't want to get lost. Okay. Okay, I have here 2 layers of the Unbounded Beauty designer paper. We have the Unbounded Love dies and stamps, but this is Unbounded Beauty. It is in the annual catalog, and I just love the pink. I know there are some of my customers that just go gaga over pink, so we're going to give them a reason to go gaga. Okay, I have here 2 layers, 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, right? And I have my paper cutter. So let me grab my paper cutter, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do this. Now, remember I told you this layer is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. This 2 layers, 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. So we're going to be able to layer this exactly without having to worry about spacing or anything. We can layer this right on this card, just like I did. Okay, half of 4 inches is 2 inches. I'm going to put my top, my short side, there, and I'm going to, hopefully they're perfectly lined up, I'm going to cut it at 2 inches, just like that. Next, believe it or not, I'm actually going to layer this on top, and I know it's not perfect to do 4 layers of designer paper, but it is possible. This is 5¼ inches long. Half of 5 inches is 2½ inches. You've got another 1/4 inch, which means that it's going to be 2½ inches plus another 1/8 inch, which is 2 5/8 inch. That's your math lesson for today. So there's my 2½ line, and each little line here is a 1/16 of an inch. So we're going to go to the next longer line, right? So 2 inches, 1/4, half, that's 2 1/2, that would be 9/16, and this would be 2 5/8 or 10/16, right? We are going to cut this at 2 5/8. They're going to be perfectly layered on top of each other, just like that. And we are going to cut through this. And it works. It does work. It's a little tough. The rest of it, I'm not going to cut. I'm going to only do 2 layers at a time, so don't worry. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that all 8 of these are the same size, and they are. So 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to take away. Actually, we're going to do it in 2s. We're going to do 2, 2. Sorry, I'm making this confusing, and it's really, really not. You can figure out what is top and bottom. To me, this looks upright. I'm going to cut this corner from the left top corner to the bottom right corner. What I'm going to do is put it on my paper trimmer. I'm going to line up the point in the track, and right here, you'll see that track. That track is actually your cutting line. So if you're in the track, you're going to be perfectly lined up. So I'm going to put my point in the track. I'm going to put my bottom right corner in the track, and I am going to cut. And this is another good reason to have, by the way, to have a sharp blade, because if you're doing 2 and you're cutting on the point, you're going to shred your paper if it's not perfectly lined up. I'm going to put that right there. My next 2, I'm going to do the top right corner to the bottom left. We're going to make kind of a pinwheel card again. Okay, so right there, perfectly on my track. I'm going to go like that. And I've got something sticky on here. I got to get my adhesive remover, getting rid of that, but just haven't gotten to it. So you get to see something sticky. Okay, now I'm going clockwise, and this is the bottom right corner. And because I did the top right corner to the bottom left, I'm going to do the same thing, top left to bottom right again. So it's going to make it a pinwheel. And then I'm going to show you how we arrange it. So when you come to class, this is all going to be cut for you, so you don't have to do this. The tutorial will tell you how to do it so that you can do it at home. But I don't know if off to the side you can see that this is how I'm arranging the pattern. And then one more right here, because I did top left to bottom right. Now I'm going to do top right to bottom left again. Last cut. And then we can move our paper trimmer off, and we can get going on designing this. Just like this. Okay. Just like that. Okay. Get rid of my paper trimmer. Let's move this into here. And these are my pieces. And now I've got enough for 2 cards here. So what I'm going to do is every other one, I am going to shuffle it. So I've got my green there. Now we're going to do it the pink at the bottom, just like that. Here, that's okay, because that's the pink. Now I'm going to shuffle this one and put the pink there, just like that. This works best if you don't have, oh, and this one is okay, because we're back to the multicolor. And this is the one where we're going to shuffle it, and the pink is going to be on the bottom. This paper, for the most part, is, it doesn't really matter what direction. The flowers are kind of all direction. There is more of a pattern than not, but just so you know, that's how we have cut and arranged our card. Now, I'm going to move this off because I want to show you how I'm going to do it. This is the same thing, but now what I'm going to do is use the other side of the same paper. So we're going to do it like that, just like that. It's supposed to be perfectly lined up. You know what? It's going to be like that. Nope, it's not. It does have to go like that. Going like that. There we go. And this is going to be over here. Just like that. Okay. That doesn't quite work. Why doesn't that work? I guess I have to do it like this. There we go. Okay, now you see. So it's not the easiest thing, but it is not impossible. So there we have our pinwheel, okay? And that's just what I have done here too, except, you know what? We're gonna flip this around like this. Now we have a pinwheel. There we go. Okay, so we've got our Pretty in Pink cardstock, and all I'm going to do is add the adhesive to the back. So this is the same, but now I'm going to concentrate a little bit more on the, I'm going to put it right here up in the corner. I hope I'm not making this more confusing than it needs to be, but there we go. And this one is going to butt up right next to it and up in the corner. I'm going to use a die cut in the center, so it doesn't matter if my center matches, but I do want my outsides and my lines in where they meet to look nice. So go just like that. Here we go. So this is a little bit different. This makes it a little bit more green than pink, but it's still very pretty, I think. So going like that. And I may decide that one direction looks better than another direction. I can flip the card when I'm done, because it kind of looks like I'm doing it upside down, if I was going to decide that there was a direction. Okay, so going just like that, meeting in the corners, nice and neat, perfect. And this should match up perfectly because we cut it together perfectly, right? I'm going to go here. And once again, like I said, you want your corners and your lines to look better. It doesn't really matter if they overlap in the middle, because do this, because it'll be covered up with my die cut. So I'll go like that. Time for the green. And I'm going to decide, and maybe you will have to help me decide, if I want green ribbon or pink ribbon. I think it's kind of cool that there's more green now showing than before. And maybe I would even want to do a green base instead of a pink base. I certainly could. That's going to be totally my prerogative, right? Okay, so here we go. There we go. Beautiful. And I can say, you know what? This looks a little bit more upright to me. This pattern is a little mixed up, but you know what? It doesn't matter. Now what I'm going to do is put it in this embossing folder, and this embossing folder, let me pull out my catalog here one more time. This embossing folder is the number 3 Dashing Designs 3D embossing folder. All of these are a 3D folder. It's actually really, really hard. Oops, I picked up all my, because it's so dry in here, all the static, I picked up all my little adhesive backs and paper scraps and everything. I'm going to put this in here, and I'm going to emboss it real quick off camera. And then we are going to decide if we want green or pink ribbon, and if we want a green or a pink base. Oh, it's an hour. Almost done though. Stay tuned. We're almost done. I think I might have used the wrong folder. I can't remember if did I do this one? I think this is the Dashing Designs. Okay, so you can see now it looks very quilted. It looks like Grandma's quilt on the bed, right? And look at the back. Isn't that so cool? I just love the design on the back too. So I have to use this embossing folder more often than I do. Okay, let's see. I could here do my pink. And to me, I feel like, I think I might still put it on the pink base because that's what I have here. But I'm going to try doing my Shy Shamrock ribbon. So if you're coming to class, I'm going to leave it up to you which side you want to do and what ribbon you want. So, okay, we got this. I'm going to just do a knot. I'm not going to do a bow, nothing fancy today. I kind of hold on and make it nice and tight. Oh, I do love that. I definitely love the green ribbon. For this side, for the other one, it would have been too much. For this one, it definitely would be too much. But for this, using mostly the green on the side, I just love this ribbon. Okay, I did another die cut. So this is the Spotlight on Nature dies. This one is a pain in the butt to cut because all the little pieces always get stuck in there. So I decided that we're going to use this one instead. This one has the radiating stitches, nice and easy, not a problem at all to cut. So let's just, I'm gonna move this up so it's right over the seam, nice and neat like that. And we are going to stamp the same thing. This is from the Birthday Celebrations stamp set, a new stamp set that is in the mini catalog. It's got great dies too, but they're more banner dies than they are circles, I believe, even though I didn't look at it. Even though I have a swap that has to go out, I believe by Friday, using this stamp set. Who knows? Maybe I'll do something like this. Okay, I'm going to stamp Make a Wish. Because it's a circle, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's straight because I can move it around, turn it around to make it straight after I stamp it. So I'm not as worried about a circle die as I am a die cut that has straight edges. Let's see, I'm going to do that. Do I like it in the pink? I think I do. I definitely do because I'm going to bring out a different color. Let me pop it up again. Love popping up my die cuts, just like this. We're almost done. Please leave me comments. Oh, and I have to tell you, for anybody that lives in this area, my retreat is on Saturday, February 8th, and today is the last day to sign up for the early bird pricing. Price goes up tomorrow because I have to rush ship everything after that. So, but I want everybody to come. It's at the Center Congregational Church here in Linfield. They've got the best room, nice and bright and light and so full, and I just have the best people that come. Just saying, the best people come. Not to say that you're not the best if you don't come, but you would have a good time if you could make it. I have Rose that came all the way from California. I keep hoping that she's going to just grab a ticket and come stay with Marilyn and come to my retreat. You hear that, Rose? If you're on, I want you to come. Okay, so you know what I could do? I could do some gems on here yet. Let's see what I have for gems. I'm going to move all of my little basins that I have. I have all these baskets for each project. I have Shirley coming to help me tonight prep for my card class. I'm going to pull out here. I'm going to just look at my dots that I have. We've got these. They're a little too bright. Actually, those would be nice, wouldn't they? They wouldn't be terrible. I've got my happy, what are these? Party dots. They're cool too with the pink. That could certainly work. I have my eye on a different idea. That's these. I think these will look really nice. These are the 2024 to 26 in color shimmer gems. And I really like these. Let's see if we could choose either Pretty in Pink or Shy Shamrock, or even Summer Splash if we wanted to, because it almost looks like this could even be Summer Splash. I think Summer Splash will get lost in the green. So I think we're going to do that. Let me get my Take Your Pick tool. And I'm going to add a couple of dots here because I can. We'll put one there. We're going to put another one on the actual quilted part of the paper. We'll put it there. We'll put a little one over there, like up here. I don't know. I'm not great at placing gems. I'm the first one to admit it. They always look kind of random. Sometimes I like putting it on to dot the I, but anyway. I don't know if these are the perfect gems or if it's the perfect place, but that's what I decided I wanted to do tonight. So, okay, so this, you can decide, like I said, you could turn over this paper, and this is the same as that, but it's just the other side. So isn't that so cool? Okay, let me show you these cards again. You're going to have to tell me your favorites. To be honest, I love the pink on this, but I kind of like the green a little bit better. It just kind of pops. You've got your woven star. So this is a, I don't know, it's just like a patchwork quilt. This one is your pinwheel quilted card. And last but not least, another quilted square, I guess. So those are the cards. Thank you so much for joining me today. I had a great time. If you want to get this card kit in the mail, you just have to place a $35 order, but I would strongly encourage you to place a $60 order. You know what? I'm going to flip back. There we go, so I can say hello and goodbye. I would do a $60 order and get the new Bloom Impressions designer paper, my favorite paper. It certainly is. But while you're at it, make sure that you get some of this Unbounded Love paper or Unbounded Beauty, more purple, of course, the Delightful Wishes and Delightful Floral paper. Thanks for joining me. Make sure you sign up for my retreat. Make sure you come to class. And I love stamping with you guys. Have a great night. Stay warm. Bye.